10 free Steam games to try out this Halloween. I think there's a good variety here. Let's check it out. First up is At Home Alone Final. This is basically an RPG Maker game, but it's really well done. You play as this little girl who is home alone, and a bunch of strange and troubling things start happening. I'm not going to share any spoilers, actually, for any of these games. I will just tell you this is a psychological horror game. It involves a time loop and a lot of bad things happening over and over again, and you're trying to somehow stop those things from happening. It looks very cute and wholesome, but I tell you, there's a lot of disturbing, unsettling stuff going on in here later on. Very creative stuff though here. Even the gameplay changes up later in the game. There's some stuff in here I simply didn't know you could do in RPG Maker. Pretty cool game. Check it out. Next up we have Dead Frontier 2. This is actually an MMO, third-person shooter MMO with zombies. You're in this very dark, zombie-filled area, and you create your character and you're off to the races. You can play solo if you want, or you can hop on a public server, which I would recommend because it's cool to just run into other players and interact with them in the game. It does make it a little bit less scary at times though, but you can just go your own way, and yeah, it gets really intense. I walked into some rooms and some buildings that were just full of nasty-looking zombies and got my heart pumping pretty quickly. Seems like there's a lot to do here, and I only played very little of it, but there are different areas you can go to. There are many quests. Even from the beginning, I was picking up so many quests and doing some of them. There's a bunch of weapons you can get, you can craft items, and a lot of skills you can learn to develop your character. The shooting feels nice, but I feel like it's not always accurate, and I don't know if that was me or the weapon I was using or being a low-level character. I really don't know, but if you're close enough to the zombies, you'll have a pretty good time. I noticed you can shoot them in the arm, and their arm will just get blown off, or it's always fun pulling off a headshot and just watching the head explode and stuff. Yeah, this is a pretty spooky game, and very impressive for a little free MMO. You want some extra challenge? You can even hop on a PvP server and good luck. Definitely check this one out. Alright, next up is Doki Doki Literature Club. I think everybody already knows about this game. In fact, it was so popular that it even got a more definitive version. Has some bonus content in there, but if you've never experienced this game before, I still recommend checking out the original version, which you can still get for free on Steam. It's a horror game disguised as a dating sim. Again, it starts off looking really wholesome, and you know, you're just this high school student trying to build relationships with your classmates, and yeah, things go horribly wrong. This is a game that'll mess with your head a lot as it goes on, and it just gets more and more messed up, and yeah, the further you go on, the more messed up it gets. Lots of shocking events here. Everybody probably already knows about this, so let's move on to the next game. This is Gun Devil. Now, there's nothing really spooky or scary about this, but the theme does feel very appropriate for Halloween. You are the gun devil, you are in hell, and basically the devil's son kidnaps your wife, and so you go on a rampage trying to rescue her from Satan's son. So of course it's a very retro looking platform run and gun game. It's actually really fun to play. There's a bunch of different weapons you can pick up, and the game looks great, it sounds great, the writing is just hilarious. It is full of naughty language, so I'm not going to be showing it, but very funny writing in this game, and just a good time. Definitely check it out. And along those lines of not being too scary, we have Helltaker. This was a very popular game too. It's a little puzzle game. There's not too many levels to it. There's about 10 levels, I think. You just play as this random guy who wakes up one day with a dream to build a harem of demon girls. Yes, I said it. So you're going through these different stages in hell, trying to get to these demon girls and then win them over, basically. You do this by solving puzzles. You only have a certain amount of moves each level, so you have to kind of plan your route, and there are enemies, and there are spikes and hazards, and there are blocks you have to push. You can take your time and plan it out. It can be a little bit of a head scratcher sometimes. It's got a great soundtrack, again, really funny writing, can be a bit vulgar at times. You're probably going to die over and over again, but it's very fast paced and just very welcoming. It welcomes you to keep on trying and keep on pushing forward. Once you finally get to the girl at the end of the level, she'll ask you a question, and if you answer that question wrong, she kills you, and you have to do the level all over again. Yeah, very cool game. It would be great to see a sequel or a remake with a lot more levels. Alright, next, this is Lily's Well. This is another sort of psychological horror game, maybe not too different from At Home Alone Final. Of course, this has a very strange retro look to it. It looks like an MS-DOS game or something. But you play as Lily, who is another little girl. She is home alone at night, trying to sleep when she hears a voice calling for help from outside. You determine this voice is coming from a well outside, but the rope has been cut off or removed from the well, so you're trying to find things to make a rope that is strong enough and long enough to get down to the bottom and save whoever's down there. This is an adventure game with lots of puzzles. Again, many ways to die in this game. You will most likely die over and over, and the unfortunate part is that you have to start all the way over from the beginning each time you die, so it can be a little wearing on the old patience. That's what I found, but at the same time it was very compelling. I think it's a pretty impressive game. It's worth checking out. Alright, next up is Phobies. Not a scary game, but very much Halloween inspired. You have tons and tons of monsters and sort of cartoony Halloween sounding soundtrack and stuff. This is sort of a cross between a card game and a hex grid turn-based strategy game. You're basically collecting different cards with different monsters on them, and you can level up these cards, make them stronger. You use the cards to basically place monsters down on this hex grid map. And you're battling against somebody else, an opponent who also has their team of monsters, and each monster has their own attributes and special attacks and things that, like I say, can be leveled up over time if you grind it out. There's also some pay-to-win elements there. Unfortunately, you can buy currency that will just let you level up your cards a lot faster, but you don't have to. There are different ways to win the game. Each player has a heart on their side of the screen, so if you take out your opponent's heart, you win, and if you take out all of your opponent's monsters at the end of the game, you win. There are also special points on the map that kind of damage your opponent's heart if you conquer them. It's a very interesting game. I really like it. I like the aesthetic, I like the music, I like the whole gameplay design of it. Seems very cool from what I've played so far. Definitely worth checking out, I'd say. Alright, next up is SCP Secret Lab. This game came out several years ago. It's still being updated. It still has a very loyal, active fan base. This is an asymmetric multiplayer shooter where you have basically people versus monsters. It's a horror-themed game. It's very spooky, very unsettling, very tense. These monsters can be very creepy, and you just never know when they're going to come and attack you. You've got a lot of human players against each monster team though. To be honest though, I had no idea what I was doing here. This game really requires a lot of teamwork and a little bit of knowledge of the map structure and objectives, and I just didn't take the time to learn all that, so I am pretty sure I let my team down. Definitely get on voice chat for this one. Looks very cool from what little I played. I'm just not good at these games, and I didn't take the time to figure things out, so sorry team. Moving on. Alright, this one is Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. This kind of looks like Minecraft. It's a very kind of low poly dungeon crawler game, I would say. This is another one that starts out very cute. You go into this mansion to explore, and there's a friendly, cute little ghost who talks to you all friendly. But the deeper you get into this maze, the more messed up and scary it gets. Yeah, it starts out with little things jumping out at you, like little cardboard cutouts of cute little ghosts and things with happy faces. And you know what? Some of these actually got me. I was feeling tense already. I knew something was going to jump out at me, and you'll see on the screen, I jumped. But you'll soon have things chasing after you, and you pick up these notes that somebody else left behind, somebody else who was kind of exploring this place and getting lost and getting desperate and getting kind of insane, and you kind of uncover the backstory the deeper you get. There's a bunch of different routes, and it seems like it doesn't matter what doors you take. Everything's just kind of randomly generated, but this is a cool little game for free, and it has some premium DLC you can buy with different maps, different levels. Overall though, you're trying to get through all 1,000 rooms, and it gets harder and harder to do so as you actually have not just cardboard cutouts popping out at you, but you actually have monsters chasing you and whatnot. This would be a fun one to play on stream if you're a streamer, content creator. I think this would make some fun videos, but check it out. Alright, and finally we have yet another zombie defense. This is just a fun little twin stick shooter / tower defense game, and you have a bunch of zombies coming at you. You're standing in the middle of this area next to a lamppost, and you're just trying to survive wave after wave of zombies, and they get harder and harder, but you collect money and power-ups and things as you play, and you can use this money in between waves of enemies to buy better weapons. You can buy turrets and load them up with weapons, and you can build barriers around you, and you can be very creative about this whole thing, and this is just really fun to play. Actually, you can play with up to 4 players online or locally. Me and my buddy played this a long time ago, and I thought it was really fun back then. I was having a good time this time too. You can just start up a game and you can allow other people to join you at random online, or you can jump into somebody else's game online. I tried and they kicked me out right away. Somebody else joined my game and then they left right away. Well, sorry guys, I'm not a pro at this game, but it's really fun. I recommend checking it out. There's also an HD remake that looks a lot nicer. It seems to be a little bit brighter and just better looking. It's only a few bucks also, so you might want to check that out. But before you do, try out this free version. Definitely a lot of fun. Alright, and there you go. Those are 10 free games on Steam you might want to check out this spooky season. I know there are tons of other free games out there. If you have any good ones, let me know. Let us know in the comments. And yeah, thank you for watching today. Hope you have a happy Halloween and play some good games. All right, I'll see you next time. Take care.